Okay, so AI, artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
it's everywhere, right? I mean, it feels like it influences just about everything now, from how we shop to how we create. But there's just so much information flying around, so much hype, really.
Yeah.
How do you actually, cut through all that noise? How do you figure out how to leverage these really powerful tools for yourself? Go beyond just knowing about AI to actually using it.
That's a huge challenge, yeah. The sheer amount of data, the conflicting opinions, it can be pretty overwhelming. Makes it tough to figure out what's actually valuable and actionable for you, for what you need.
A critical point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why we're here on the deep dive. We try to cut through that noise, pull out the essential insights directly from your sources. And today's deep dive is brought to you by easymasterai.com. They're a great resource for, understanding and actually using AI in practical ways.
And today we're diving deep into a really comprehensive resource. It's designed to help you navigate one of the biggest names out there, Chat GPT. The source is called the Chat GPT Guide for Starters.
That's the one. And look, this isn't just some basic, here's what it is overview. No, it's really designed to help you become a power user. So today we're kind of tracing a path from understanding what's under the hood, the AI's core, to learning how to talk to it effectively, then applying that to, real business challenges, and even potentially building new tools with it. Think of this as your shortcut, your way to understand how to really, like the guide says, 100x your Chat GPT game.
And what does that 100x mean, really? It means potentially turning hours of work into just minutes, or unlocking insights from data you didn't even know you had access to, giving you a serious advantage.
Okay, so we've mentioned the buzz, but what is ChatGPT really? Let's peel that back. According to this guide, what makes it such a big deal?
Right. So the guide defines it as a large language model, an LLM, developed by OpenAI, its main job. Generating text that sounds remarkably human across a huge range of topics and questions. It's pretty incredible how it understands and responds.
How does it actually do that, though? Because honestly, sometimes it just feels like magic.
It really can feel that way. The guide explains it's built on something called the transformer architecture. Now, that sounds technical, I know, but imagine someone who could read, like a whole library instantly, absorb everything, understand all the connections between words and ideas all at once.
Okay, that helps. Like super fast, super connected reading.
Exactly. That's kind of what the transformer architecture does for computers with language. It processes massive amounts of text data incredibly fast, learns to predict the next word in a sentence, and that's how it builds coherent, meaningful responses.
Got it. So beyond the tech, what's the immediate impact? What industries are feeling this already, according to the guide? And I'm curious, does it talk about, the bigger picture stuff beyond just jobs?
Yeah, it does. The guide focuses first on two big areas, customer service and education. In customer service, think quick, accurate answers 24/7, reduces wait times, makes customers happier. Now, the guide does note this could shift roles, especially for lower skilled customer service jobs, but the real 100x insight here isn't just efficiency, it's about rehumanizing it.
Rehumanizing? How so?
Well, by letting AI handle the simple, repetitive questions, businesses can free up their human teams. Let them focus on complex problems, empathetic interactions, building actual relationships, things AI can't do nearly as well. So it's augmenting human skills, not just replacing them.
Ah, okay. Augmenting, not replacing. That's a powerful shift in perspective.
Yeah.
Elevation, you called it. Is this a
That's
similar story in education? Augmentation there, too.
Very similar, yeah. ChatGPT can offer personalized learning, gives students instant answers, feedback, makes education potentially more accessible, more effective, globally. And again, the guide suggests it'll likely shift educator roles rather than just eliminate them, creating new opportunities in designing AI-powered learning systems, which lets teachers focus more on mentorship, critical thinking, individual student needs, the human stuff.
It really sounds like the guide positions this strategically, not just, here's a tool. It emphasizes that first step.
Yeah.
Identify problems, identify opportunities. Where are the gaps, like in customer service, or the need for better personalized education?
Yeah.
And then set specific, measurable goals for how ChatGPT can help fix those things.
It's about tangible results, right? Not just playing around with it.
Exactly. What's fascinating is how it's framed immediately. Not just a tool, but a catalyst. A catalyst for efficiency, accuracy, effectiveness across so many fields. Which really raises a key question for you, the listener. How can you spot those kinds of opportunities in your own work, your own interests? How do you find that 100x advantage?
The guide really pushes you to think beyond just using it towards strategically deploying it.
Thinking like an innovator.
Precisely. Like, if your company's internal info is hard to find, Maybe ChatGPT could become an instant internal expert. Or if customer onboarding takes too long, could it create interactive, personalized tutorials? And the guide stresses SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Can it cut onboarding time by 20% in 3 months? Can it handle 80% of common questions automatically? That kind of thinking.
Okay, so Chat GPT is a strategic force. But how do you actually wield that force? This next part, I think, is where it gets really practical for a lot of people. The guide is super clear. The quality of the answers you get. It totally depends on the quality of your questions.
Yeah.
It's all about the prompts.
Exactly. The guide puts it bluntly. Using specific, well-crafted prompts gives you an experience that's 10 times better than just asking basic stuff. It's a massive difference.
10 times better, that's huge. So for someone just starting, or maybe someone who tried it and thought, it's okay, what's the main shift in thinking needed to unlock that? Why are prompts so critical?
I think the biggest hurdle is that mindset shift. We're used to searching, like Google. With AI like this, you're directing intelligence. It's different. Prompts matter so much because they guide the AI's focus. They tell it how to think about your question. They encourage detail, nuance, relevance, and they let you tap into specific expertise, like asking for marketing advice versus writing advice versus UX advice.
Right. You're telling a specialist what you need, not just shouting into a room.
Precisely.
And the guide talks about game-changing prompts,
Mm-hmm.
especially this idea of telling ChatGPT to act as someone, a specific persona.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a couple of examples from that list of 20 the guide provides? This sounds really powerful.
Oh, absolutely. One great one is, act as a marketer and explain how ChatGPT can be used in chatbot design. The guide suggests this helps you get ideas for more natural, more personalized chatbot responses, which can seriously boost customer engagement, make it feel less
Right.
robotic.
Okay, that makes total sense. You're setting the context, the expertise level. It's another one.
How about act as a content creator and explain how ChatGPT can be used in content marketing? This can spark ideas for blog posts, social media, whatever. Keep your content fresh and relevant, or maybe for designers, act as a UX designer and explain how ChatGPT can be used in user experience design. That could help generate natural language prompts for interfaces, making them more intuitive, maybe even streamline the design process itself.
And what about for sales? Trying to connect with people.
Yeah, the guide has one. Act as a salesperson and explain how ChatGPT can be used in sales and lead generation. This helps generate really personalized outreach messages, not generic spam, which can significantly boost response rates, make your sales efforts way more effective.
Wow. So this is not just getting better answers.
No, it's more fundamental. It's about learning to communicate effectively with AI, and that is becoming a really critical skill, in this digital world. Crafting your questions, your prompts, that's absolutely central to unlocking ChatGPT's real potential for you.
Okay, so let's connect the dots. What does this mean for, say, business owners, entrepreneurs, or even someone just exploring ways to generate some side income? The guide really seems to position these prompts as a strategic business asset.
It really does, yeah. It frames ChatGPT as this powerful engine for business development, for growth, offering capabilities that honestly used to be only for huge companies with big budgets, like market research. Think about that.
Exactly. What can it do there?
Well, leveraging all that data it was trained on, it can analyze patterns, millions of data points at once, give you really granular insights into demographics, age, income, location, consumer preferences, buying habits, opinions, even behavioral patterns, how often people buy, what they spend.
Sounds like hyper-targeting on steroids. How does a business actually use that to get an edge?
Well, with that deep understanding, you can tailor your marketing campaigns with incredible precision. Develop products you know people want because you understand their needs so well. Encourage repeat business by anticipating what they might like next. It's like having a dedicated market research team working 24/7. That's a huge advantage, especially for smaller businesses.
Okay, massive potential there. And customer service. You mentioned it earlier, but how does it enhance it beyond just answering basic questions?
It really transforms it. You can program it to recognize keywords, provide instant accurate info, resolves common issues immediately, but it also helps with complaints, not just resolving them, but analyzing the feedback, spotting trends, fixing root causes. Plus, it can offer personalized recommendations based on past behavior. Hey, you like this, you might like that. And that increases sales, sure, but it also builds loyalty. It's proactive, personalized care.
So more efficient, but also potentially more personal and predictive. What about big picture strategy? Can it help chart the course for a business?
Absolutely. The guide explains how it can analyze industry trends. It scans news, reports, data, identifies emerging patterns in real time, helps you stay ahead of the curve. It can also spot growth opportunities, new needs popping up, untapped markets, new product categories. It can surface those from the data. And ultimately, it helps you create actionable plans, provides analysis, recommendations for specific steps, like which marketing campaign to prioritize, what features to build next.
And the guide really hammers home the point about feeding it your specific details,
Right.
your idea, audience, goals, challenges.
Yes, that's crucial. Absolutely fundamental to getting that 100x value. You have to give it context, your business idea, who you're trying to reach, your unique selling points, your goals. When you do that, the AI's responses become far more relevant, accurate, and tailored to you. The guide says this leads directly to things like improved customer understanding, enhanced differentiation, marketing optimization, and goal alignment.
Yeah.
So yeah, this section really paints ChatGPT as a strategic partner, not just a clever tool. It's about using its analytical power to make smarter decisions, drive real growth. And that can definitely open pathways to generating significant income.
Okay, this is fascinating. Now let's shift gears slightly to something that sounds maybe a bit more complex, but the guide suggests is incredibly powerful. Using ChatGPT to actually generate code, specifically Python code.
Right. This is a big leap. The guide shows that ChatGPT can actually be trained, or prompted rather, to write lines of code for all sorts of applications. And it highlights Python because it's so versatile, web development, data analysis, machine learning, even building things like trading algorithms. It's about making these technical capabilities more accessible.
Wow. From text to functional programs.
Oh,
That's
so the guide gives a specific example, doesn't it? A trading bot. What does that mean practically for someone who isn't a coder but wants to automate something?
It does. It shows how you can get ChatGPT to generate code for a bot that automates trading based on rules you define. The guide gives a specific prompt example, asking for Python code to buy URUSD when one moving average crosses another and sell when it crosses back. So for a non-coder, this is huge. You can describe what you want in automation or a script to do in plain English. And ChatGPT can often generate the basic code structure for you, get you maybe 80–90% of the way there. It dramatically speeds up prototyping, makes tasks that seemed impossible suddenly achievable. So you describe the logic, it writes the code. That's amazing. But how do you know if the code it writes actually works? Or is even safe?
Yeah, good question. The guide stresses verification and testing, absolutely critical. It talks about backtesting running the code against historical data to see how it would have performed. And forward testing, trying it out in a simulated or real-time environment. You need to check its performance, tweak it. It's an iterative process, especially with AI-generated code.
So again, it comes back to the instructions, the prompt quality. The more specific you are, the better the code output is likely to be. You can even ask for different versions to compare.
Exactly. The guide is crystal clear on this. Specific prompts and highly defined instructions are key. The better you define what you need, the more effective the generated code will be. You're essentially guiding the AI's coding process.
Now, this is incredibly powerful stuff, generating code like that. But it's really important we mention the disclaimer the guide includes, especially for financial things like trading bots.
Oh, absolutely essential, yes. The guide explicitly states, and this is crucial, the trading bot code is purely for educational purposes. It is not financial advice. It's not a recommendation to trade. Trading, especially currencies, carries a very high level of risk. It's not suitable for everyone. You absolutely need to do your own research, talk to a qualified financial advisor before considering any kind of trading.
Right. Very important distinction. Education, not advice.
But it does showcase this incredible leap, right, from text generation to functional code generation. And that really makes you wonder, beyond what we're seeing now, how could this shape the future? Especially for individuals, for small businesses, could it truly democratize software development, allow people without deep coding skills to build their own solutions? That's a profound possibility.
What a journey today, really. We've gone from the basics of what ChatGPT is to mastering prompts, using it for business growth, generating income, and even getting it to write code for real applications. This deep dive into the ChatGPT guide for starters really shows it's this incredible tool for boosting productivity, yeah, but also for creating revenue and just communicating more effectively.
It's definitely clear. With the right approach, the right strategic mindset, ChatGPT can unlock some serious opportunities pretty much anywhere.
So here's something to think about as we wrap up. Considering everything we've discussed today, all the ways ChatGPT can be used, what's just one area, one specific part of your life, your work, where applying these ideas effective prompting, strategic thinking could create an immediate, tangible 100x improvement for you. What's the first challenge or opportunity you're going to tackle with this?
We really hope this deep dive has been useful, showing you some of the transformative power packed into ChatGPT and AI generally.
And if you want to keep learning, explore more about AI, find practical tools, maybe even ways to make money with AI, definitely visit easymasterai.com.
Thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive.